Send one message, and this is what it feels like. And this is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. Game time. Game time.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this trying to read the mind the heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. They say that. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. So much crying from him. He's a man. He can be his just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. When you step on the field, man, that's who I did. When I step on the field, I send you one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You better go work in my world.
Let's go, my God, let's go. Here we go to the house. Nah, it's just first hour on getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM streaming live, KYOKradio.org. It is the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. All right, we're streaming live on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Twitch, and we're on Roku. We are on Roku, and I'm glad to be there, courtesy of the BS3 network, BS3 TV. You got a Roku streaming device, download BS3 TV. You'll find some great shows, and one of them in the middle of your big screen will be the lunch break. All right, Keith Hennick has checked in. CJ and Keith Hennick have said hi to each other. All right. Are you listening on AM 1140? Are you listening on 92.3? Or are you streaming KYOKradio.org? It is Throwback Thursday. Going to have Dr. J, Jennifer Thibeaux joining us in a few minutes. And we'll have Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball review. The Rockets did it again. Lost. Now 6 in a row. Lost 124 to 121 to Phoenix. I predicted the loss. I didn't think it would be that close. But as bad as the Rockets loss is, and they got to play again tonight, they might be heading into the All-Star break having lost 7 in a row. And again, I know this is a young Rocket team. I know nobody was really expecting them to do anything, but this ain't cute right here. This is not pretty. And I'm not going to even use that as a lead into my guest joining me. I'm not going to do that because that's borderline sexist. I ain't doing that. I got a lot of problems. I got 99 problems. That ain't one of them.
That's good.
you know what I mean? I ain't got that problem. Hold on. Let me make sure I got you turned all the way up. Dr.
Right.
J, Jennifer Thibeaux. How you doing?
Well, AJ, how are you?
I'm fine. It's Throwback Thursday, so what I got to be worried about?
That's what I'm saying too. You know, I feel like I'm one day younger today. So that's my throwback. You know, you got to feel renewed and new. And I said, okay, all right. Thursday is the new Friday.
I like that. I like that. She said, I feel one day younger today. Because it's Throwback Thursday. I'm gonna rock with that. That. Let me check out, see what this brilliant young man, Mike Patton, touring the AFC South. He said, Dr. J, oh, my bad. I was thinking Julius Irving. I know, bad joke, LOL. We're going to put that up for him anyway. We're gonna let him rock with that anyway.
I do have a funny story. So really quick, and, you know, I was in LA doing a broadcast show, okay, and I was interviewing a bunch of the athletes that I had on this broadcast show, and sure enough, people heard we did these interviews like in a hotel room, which is really common. A lot of people may not realize it. So I'm arriving at the hotel. The valet says he took an extra shift because he heard Dr. J was coming to the hotel, and it broke my heart to have to look at him with all of my 5 feet and 1.5 inches and to tell him you can go home because you are now talking to Dr. J.
That is absolutely
Oh,
hilarious.
his heart was so broken because he was like, well, it's still nice to meet you. I'm thinking to myself, no, 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 sweetie, you're exhausted. Please go home.
Oh, dude. Yeah, yeah. That is so funny, Dr. J. That is hilarious. And you know what? There are people who are, I'm not going to say starstruck, but they enjoy their favorite athletes and actors and celebrities that they do stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you felt that way when somebody walked in the room for the first time that
Yeah.
you've never met. You get all these little tinglies like, oh my God, that's really them. They're really that tall, or they're really that short, or they're really, women go, oh, they smell really nice. Like, you remember all the little things about the person that you don't pick up on if you're seeing them on the screen. So you soak it all in. And then now, who was your person that you were like, wow, that's really them?
I'm glad you asked me that, because that's one of the questions that I ask a lot of people that come on my show. I know you're the star, but who was your starstruck moment? Who was that one person that made you say, and that's all you can get out? That's all
Well, I haven't had it yet, but I know it's coming. I have the person that I know it's coming for, and that's Nadia Comaneci. So she's my person. And I met all these, probably President Barack Obama would probably be another one. But for me, Nadia Comaneci, she has tweeted at me several times. I have hit the floor, had to fan myself, wake up to realize Nadia is really messaging me on multiple occasions. And she's married to Bart Connor, another icon in gymnastics. But it just, she's what got me in the direction that I started. So she would probably be the person that I would just be speechless about still to this day. But no one else. Like, the only other person I think would be like a Shaquille O'Neal. And it's just because his doggone size. Like, he's just so big. Like, if you've never seen a person 7'2", 7'3" with that amount of size to them, and it's just it's a sight. It's a sight.
Funny you say today is just a day of those, like, oh wow, okay, that's what we're doing today, Lord. That was my one starstruck moment. The first time that I met your friend Shaquille O'Neal, I was like, and he said his exact words, "Chill out, big man. It's cool." And I'm like, I had nothing. Words just would not come because of him. And I've interviewed Dr. J, the Dr. Julius Erving. I've been in the interview pool with Kobe Bryant and with Michael Jordan. I've been in interview pools with them. But just Shaq was that moment that I could not get my words together for the very next day.
And he eats it up. That's the funny part. Like, he totally eats it up because he understands that people are, again, that you're struck on so many different levels. But I noticed even when he FaceTimed in during our commercial break, when I was in studio, you were quiet too. I gotta stop that.
I'm telling you, that was of all the ones I've had. I mean, Michael Vick, Drew Brees. I mean, I can go on and on and on. The one that I could not get words together was Shaquille O'Neal.
We gotta get you past that, because you had Cheryl Swoops in the studio that day. You had Shaquille O'Neal on the device. Come on, you were the man that day. Come on, AJ. You're a superstar too now.
I had my star moment. I couldn't get it together. Now, I will tell you the other one that if ever I meet her, it's gonna be bad. It's just gonna be a sheer embarrassment. Sanaya Lathan. If I meet her, I'm not going to be able to speak any kind of English. It's going to be like, never mind.
Well, she is royalty in Hollywood, because, her dad, Stan Lathan, and just like the amount of productions that her family has been a part of is just kind of incredible. Just Like they are excellence. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
really are.
Robin Roberts, I bumped into her on the shuttle in the airport in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And, again, no problems there.
Mhm.
Vanessa Williams, the former Miss USA and
Yes.
actress and what have you, no problem. Whitney,
Mhm.
no problems there.
You are
There's no
kidding me.
funny
Even Whitney?
Even Whitney said, "Don't say nothing. Please don't say nothing. If you don't say nothing, I won't say nothing." I said, "Whitney, everybody knows it's you." She said, "But you just don't you say nothing." I said, "I ain't gonna say nothing." So I mean, again, I've had funny moments with
Yes.
celebrities, but that Shaq moment, it was funny, but not in a good way. So
Right.
Dr. J joining us here on the show. We got Kris Gardner coming in second hour, but stay right there. We got to talk about some things on Throwback Thursday. So let me hit these quick breaks. We'll be right back with more. If you want in on Throwback Thursday, if you want to throw back to your celebrity moment, that moment where you could not get yourself together because you had a celebrity in your presence, hit us up, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000, or you can email aj@kyoksports.com or text me 832-403-5005. It's the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Car payment treating you. What if I told you you could make a free phone call right now and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Look at your car payment
this is pretty
closely.
good.
You could be paying
Mike
as high as
Patton.
20% interest. Rate Genius can help you reduce your car payments by reducing your interest rate to as low as 2.48% APR. We can refinance most existing car loans or leased cars, new or used, and save you money every month. Put more money back in your
Lupita
pocket.
is another
The
one.
call is
Lupita is
Mhm.
another one. I can see that not going
car
well.
payment. 5 minutes of your time right now could save you hundreds of dollars a year. Call Rate Genius now.
800-811-4169. 800-811-4169. 800-811-4169. That's 800-811-4169. Not allowed to qualify for a loan or rate savings. Actual offer terms including APR determined at the time of your application based on credit worthiness, value of the vehicle, loan term, and other factors.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. 800-472-5145. That's 800-472-5145.
All right, one more after this.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Okay, last one.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. Learning to save $2 or $3 out of every $10 was one of the lessons my parents shared with me. They wanted us to start early, teaching how to save so that we could break the curse of living from paycheck to paycheck and borrowing to make ends meet. My parents said that finances are a struggle for people, even good people. They wanted us to appreciate the finances we had, but also have wisdom of spending it. I had to learn it as a child, that even though my parents gave me
One of my cousins sent a text message in, and I got to read it.
Okay.
To go to the movies or skating, I had to save money for those things. I began to
That's
encourage
funny.
myself to save money. I learned that youth respond better if we challenge them even at a young age to learn how to manage every dollar they get.
This is Irma J from Internal Revamp, and you're listening to AJ on the Lunch Break.
Thank you there, Irma J. She's a celebrity that I didn't have any trouble meeting from Eternal Revamp. Anyway, it's Throwback Thursday. I'm AJ Jones. I've got Dr. J, Jennifer Thibeaux, on the show with us. And we were just kind of, chopping it up, talking about celebrity moments where you couldn't get your thoughts together because you were in the presence of a celebrity. One of my cousins just texted in. She said, I know you're not talking about not being able to get your words together. Didn't you date 2 celebrities? I did. I don't kiss and tell, but she's right. I did date 2 celebrities. And I remember bringing one over to their house. I have an aunt with 5 daughters. Mm-hmm. And I brought this young lady who was a child actress star, mm-hmm. and brought her over, and they sucked it up. They were like, oh my God. Like, can y'all let her eat? Like, we gonna let her eat, right? And it was crazy. It was just out of this world. So she's right. But I got another one. Mm-hmm. The young lady that played Okoye in Black Panther, Dora Milaje. She also plays in The Walking Dead.
Yes, she does. Oh, she's awesome. She's beautiful. And she's so talented, and she seems like she walks in and just fills the room and just takes your breath away. She seems like that person. I could see that. Yep, I could totally see that. And I could totally see.
Let me tell you something. Not just her physical attractiveness mm-hmm. got me, but the role that she played in Black Panther, mm-hmm. where she was fully committed to the king, whoever that was. She was fully committed to the establishment and the rules and the right thing to do. And mm-hmm. then once she realized that was not right and there was something, then she was fully committed to that. That kind mm-hmm. of loyalty and faithfulness and all that, man, that thing created a real imagery, a real image in my mind. I loved her.
Well, she was strength on screen, grace. God. Beauty, all that. You don't need a bunch of hair to show grace and beauty. Like it was her spirit, I think, that shined through. But the same thing with her character in Walking Dead. I think Michonne is the name of her. I haven't seen Walking Dead in forever.
The true final season is coming back on. Yep.
Okay. Well, true story. I started watching on the day that they were munching on one of the characters' legs. And I was like, oh, no, I'm done. I'm totally done. We just eating people while they alive? Hey, oh, no. I'm done.
Something. I am too committed to be done. I got to see how it ends. I don't care how bad it is or how good it is. It was like Game of Thrones for me. I had to see the ending. I was too committed. I've been through too much.
I see.
Not to see the ending. Yeah.
Well, see, the thing about it, I start feeling a line within myself, and you can appreciate this, Pastor AJ, that there are certain shows, like there was a show called Satan or something like that. Like I won't even flip a show like that on. Like I can't, like there are just certain, or no, it's called Lucifer. Yeah. There's just like, there's like certain things I just cannot connect with, almost for fear of, well, if I cross this line, well, maybe I'll cross another one and let me get close. And I'm like, no. So I'm telling you, when they were jumping on the brother's leg, I said, oh no, I'm done. That was officially my last. I think Liz was like in the 6th grade. So we're talking, this was a while back. I was officially done because I was like, ew, I don't want this to be entertainment for me. So that just.
But you got to be sensitive to the spirit. And I'm glad
absolutely.
You know that you got to be sensitive to the spirit, and your mm-hmm. sensitivity is not necessarily mine.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I used to be a youth pastor, and I love being a youth pastor. And I would hear my kids making certain comments and using certain slogans and phrases. And I'm like, where y'all getting that from? Y'all sound crazy. And I come to find out they were getting it from a line of a movie that I normally would not watch. So I said, all right, now, Lord, what do you want me to do here? I want to be able to communicate with these kids. He said, understand their language. So I started watching the movies, and I had other pastors tell me, man, you can't watch that stuff. You can't watch that stuff. I said, I'm not trying to reach you, pastor. I'm trying to reach these kids. And by being prayed up and going into it, am able to be okay coming out of it. And it changed everything. Our youth ministry grew in ways people could not even imagine. But there were times when I heard in my spirit, nope, don't watch that. And I wouldn't watch that. I was obedient to go where I was allowed to go, don't go where I wasn't allowed to go. And I couldn't let nobody else tell me how to minister to my youth department, not their youth department. So you got to be sensitive to your spirit.
Or minister to your spirit. That's, I mean, like, Lord have mercy. If we had more of that, if we had more of each individual saying, okay, here's my boundaries, period. And I'm unwavering
Right.
on those boundaries. Imagine where we would go. I just feel like we go in so many different wrong directions, whether it's in a sports team management or corporation
Yep.
or just in the community, because everyone's blurring the lines and no one's saying, this is it. This is my boundary. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to grab the tiki torch and say we will not be replaced. I'm not doing that. Like there's got to be a moment and a line that you have. And, you know, that was one of the things, you know, I know we are on a Christian lane, and not to get too far, but you know, that was one thing that's so important to me as an athlete when I went off to college, was to bring my Bible with me, to be, because I didn't know what was gonna, you know, you don't know what's gonna hit you in a new direction, but I knew, I was like, but I'm bringing something with me. I know. I'm bringing something with me that if things don't look right, I can open the pages and I will figure it out. I will be home no matter what. And you know, I don't know. I would love to see them elevate more of the faith of just people's faith walk in sports. I would love to see us elevate more of that. But we saw that in the Super Bowl. I don't know if you picked up on that in the celebrations, you know, for the trophy, like right after they won. Many of them thanked God first. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. That I am so glad to hear that, because I feel like we've missed out on some of that. Not putting a dig on other sports champions and championship teams, but this one in particular, there many of the people, on the first words out of their mouth was to thank God. And I was so happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm always big on that. And I pay attention to sports broadcast journalists that cut folks off when they do that.
Right.
And there's some prominent ones out there that will literally cut away from that to go to where they want to get to. And for me, them being able to express their faith is their freedom of expression, their freedom of speech, their freedom of religion. But there are folks that want to cut that off and get to, and not just because they want to get to the next thing, but they don't want all that. Bob Costas, and I'll call his name, was real big on, if I want to hear about faith, I'll go to church. I don't want to hear about it from an athlete. And I was like, bro, I hope nobody ever gives you another interview, because you have the right to make that decision for someone else. And you got too big of a platform to make that be a lane that someone cannot walk in. Larry Merchant also used to be that. He was the guy that was the first one in the ring after the biggest boxing matches of all time. And as soon as somebody said God or Jesus, he was moving on. He would literally cut them off and move on to what
I've seen it.
Like, man, that's why I'm grateful for where I am right now.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Like, you know, what you almost want to ask a person, what did Jesus do for you? But the answer is they don't know, which is why they're not reflecting Jesus back. It's like, Jesus didn't do bad to you. I promise you that didn't happen. You just have not figured out what Jesus did for you. So again, I'm not trying to take us all the way to church on you know, on the show. Hey. Lord, no, I can't sing. But you know, but I will say, like, that conversation about sports journalists having their own special ideas about what the lane should be, and folks don't realize that becomes the product that you see on television. They don't realize how much that they have steered out of the conversation. There may be a reason why you don't know this particular athlete, don't know that side of them, because they're constantly being cut off from that path. And you know, there's a lot of new journalists in the news talking about,
when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about a prominent one who's making a lane change. Mike Patton said, met Erica from Mary in Minneapolis too. Cool peeps. Wasn't nervous at all. Yeah, I got some personal Erica and Tina stories about them. I used to be friends with someone who was a personal friend of theirs, so I've been in their presence a while. Trey Pike said, I hung out with and been around several athletes and artists, but I'd have a hard time talking if I met Lolo Jones. That's another good one, Trey. Trey! That's another good one, dog. That's another good one.
Well, I know Lolo Jones personally. I actually put her through my broadcast program.
That's right.
Out in LA. I did. I put Lolo through my program. She's a really amazing woman. She's tall, of course. Coming from me, everybody's tall. Like
Jay,
5'1". Everybody. If I tell you
tall.
something, but if I tell you somebody's not tall, that means they are really short. Okay,
Right.
So let's just
You
also
miles. That's it, baby girl. That's
right. That's right. But she's intelligent. That's the other thing that I think a lot of people don't necessarily get a chance to hear her talk as much. I know she was trying to get to do more and more broadcasting. She went to the Winter Olympic side to do not snowboarding, bobsledding. But she's just really a unique character. But she's tall. She's tall, athletic, beautiful.
I got a chance to meet her, interview her over the phone. I knew her agent at the time. I got a chance to interview her over the phone when she was done running and was going to go over and be the one of the broadcast journalists. And great conversation. We talked a lot about faith. We definitely talked about her dating and her celibacy. And I tell you what, man, I was so proud of her for the decision that she made about her celibacy. And she said, I'll never know how many relationships it cost me. But then she caught herself. She said, no, it didn't cost me anything, because if that was going to be the reason why they were with me, they were not for me.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things, you talk about a person wears something on their sleeve. She wears that on her sleeve as a badge of pride. And to your point, I'm so proud of her for that. Because sometimes people want to withhold that information, that part of them, just because they're scared about what the person's going to say. And she puts it out there up front. It doesn't have to be that she's talking to a person she thinks she might want to date. This is just, this is who I am. Right. This is every bit of who I am. And just so you know up front. And she did that even with our group. I mean, we had Maurice Green, we had Gary Payton in there. We had all, and she's being the same self that she is, no matter if she's talking to just me, her sister, or a room full of strangers. So I do really appreciate that about her. I would love to see her do a lot more especially with Olympic sports broadcasting.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. All right, we got to take another break. We'll come back with Dr. J. When we come back, something else has hit the news with a broadcast journalist. We'll talk about that next right here on the lunch break.
I'm Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner. I wake up every day to work for our community, and Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo does too. When the pandemic hit, she put people ahead of politics and fought for our community. When they came after our right to vote, she fought back by extending voting hours and tripling early vote locations. I'm with Lena Hidalgo because she's with us. Join me in voting for Lena Hidalgo. Early vote is February 14th to February 25th. Election day is March the 1st.
Political advertisement paid for by Lena Hidalgo for Harris County.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, T.D. Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary KYOK, 1140 a.m. and 92.3 FM. See you there.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
What's up, everybody? This is Jonathan Nelson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break with AJ.
All right, thank you very much, there, Jonathan Nelson, here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. If you're from Louisiana, this is going to be sad news for you. Loretta Harrison, the chief and owner, CEO and owner of Loretta's Pralines, passed away at the age of 66. And that just came across the wire probably about 20 minutes ago. I just got the update. She was known as the Pralines Queen. If you ever went through the airport at New Orleans, her shops were prominent in all of the terminals. There are people that ordered her pralines and king cakes and all kinds of things from her all around the world. In fact, I just tried for the very first time sweet potato cookies. And when I tell you those things were all it was, and literally just maybe less than a month ago. Got those from Loretta's pralines, and to hear that she passed away today, that breaks my heart. So please keep the Harrison family in your prayers. That's a legacy that I hope does not get lost.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, AJ, you say pralines?
Pralines, pralines. I just eat them.
You know, in Southern Louisiana, they call them pecan candy. That's what that's what those are called. It's called pecan candy. It's totally different. So when people kept talking about pralines and pralines, I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
What's that? And then I ate it. I said, oh, this is pecan candy. Okay. All right.
So now watch this. Is it pecan candy or is it pecan?
Oh, no. There's no such thing as pecan in my vocabulary. Now I may have I might have a great Southern drawl at times, but the pecan is not in the vocabulary. It's pecan.
Pecan pie. It is not pecan pie.
That's right.
I hear you. Michelle Tafoya. Got in a little bit of trouble about a month and a half, 2 months ago, when she was talking about professional athletes. She kind of used some slogans and phrases that have now been, understood for what they really mean. She was saying that the owners take very good care of the athletes and they're well taken care of. And they shouldn't be worrying about, black head coaches, and they shouldn't be worrying about black general managers and black quarterbacks. The athletes are being well taken care of. And literally got sat down by the network for doing that. And then, of course, she came back for the Super Bowl. Now she's stepping away to go and work for a far-right political candidate. Whom she aligns with. And again, no problem with that. But one of the comments that she made most recently is where I kind of want to, touch on a little bit, if you don't mind. She says, and I quote, "It breaks my heart that my kids are being taught that skin color matters." Now, she has adopted, I know, at least one child that I don't know what nationality, but has a whole lot of melanin. I'll say it like that.
Okay. All right.
And she is one of the ones who says she teaches her kids not to see color. I'm just going to throw this out here before I hear your comments. I teach my kids to see color. I see color. But I also teach my kids and my grandkids not to allow the color that they see determine how they treat that person. Respect them for who they are and all that comes with them. Their color, their size, their hair, their glasses. Don't ever make fun of someone or treat someone differently or poorly because of any of those things. But Michelle Tafoya seems to be from that group that, if I don't talk about your color, then that means I accept you. I'm listening.
That's my when I go, okay, all right, well, let me scratch my head for a second and just break it down. All right, so to paraphrase Martin Luther King Jr., right, paraphrasing, not the color of the skin, but the content of the character. So the downside of saying I don't want to teach color is that you have to be at such a high wavelength that you have separated character from color. And the reality is society doesn't do that. Society puts color of your skin and what your character is together. So now if you push all that aside, you've pushed all that I am to the side. So I understand that idea, except for it doesn't work on many levels. Now, I'm a parent, you're a parent. As much as we teach our children, the world teaches at the same time. Okay. The world is teaching. I don't know if I've shared this story with you, but my daughter's 2 years old. Okay. She was just born just as light bright as she wants to be, to the point that she was significantly lighter than me. And so one summer, she looked on TV. There was a commercial of kids, like probably a diaper commercial. So they normally at that time in 2003, 2004 had normally not many children of color to be the models, the baby models. And she said to me, "We're white." So we French now. I said, "We are." And I said, "Well, what about Grammy?" Right. So I go down, and as the slight shade got darker, then okay, she was judging. So I thought, oh, she's judging on just color, actual color. Okay, summer comes and goes. She's been outside some more. She gets her nice little tan. She is sad, AJ. She comes to me sad and says, "Mommy, we're not white anymore." And she was sad about it. And I said, "We're not?" And she said, "No." Now, I kid you not, this child said, "We are dark white." I said, "I'm through." But that's how much society wanted her to hold on to a color, because a color was associated to something better than what reality is telling. So society taught her that. I didn't teach her any of these things, and I worked and worked and worked for her to understand what society was, what she is, who she is, but it's going to teach. So you know, I'm talking about a child, but Michelle Tafoya, she's no child. She's an extremely experienced journalist, and we have expectations that once you've been exposed to a fair number of environments, good, bad, happy, sad, royalty, slums, and everything else, that you should have a better, more even-keeled perspective on what life is and on what tragic circumstance things are. You should have the best window there is. But again, if you bring bias with you, if you bring that bias, you will always see it differently than everybody else. You could walk into a slum where people are struggling and they have dirty water, and you'll say, "Well, at least they have water." You know, it is all about the individual person. And so I am sad that a person could make it to that level and still not change. I don't mind that you walked into journalism feeling that way. Everybody walks in with wherever they came from. They walk in with their history.
Good point. Very good point.
What, right? Like we all walked in with what we had. But the idea that I know you got exposed to so much, and at so many different levels, and you got a chance to see people, bring up their whole family, raise their families, and change people's lives. And the idea that you saw all of that, and you still walk away with this callous sense of who people are, and this, to me, a sidebar comment of stomping on Black Lives Matter or any Lives Matter campaigns, that is, it's beyond tone deaf. But her actions then to go and show us who she's aligned with then makes me say, okay, all right, so maybe we're the blind ones, that we weren't consistently seeing what was in front of us, because the journalist is not supposed to be the story, but maybe we've been seeing Michelle Tafoya this whole time.
Right.
But we've been more interested in the guest that she was talking to, so we let her slide.
Yeah, those are very good points. Very good points. Because for Michelle Tafoya to have covered as much of what she has covered, as long as she has covered it, all around the world, so all kinds of diversity, there's no way she could not have seen some of the disparities and disparities, and not acknowledge that those things exist. Whether you buy into them or not is one thing, but to not acknowledge that those things exist, and to even go to the Pollyanna mentality of, oh, but they're so well taken care of. Forget about the issues. They should be happy that they're so well taken care of. That makes me wonder if she had not made a conscious choice, that was the way she was going to view things. So now we're not getting unbiased reporting. We're not getting the true story. We're getting what you want us to have from your biases. And like you also said, there are subconscious prejudices and bigotries and biases. my daughter sent me a video clip of a young man in their little student center area, black young man who was being bullied by a white child. And the white kid pushed and swung on the black kid first, knocked him down onto a sofa area, and then jumped on him and started beating him. The officers at the school came and pulled the white kid off of him, and then took the black kid up off the sofa, threw him down on his face, and began to cuff him. Not even asking who started it, what happened, all that. It wasn't until all the kids standing around said he was the one that started it. He was the one that was bullying him. This young man just literally tried to defend himself, and he didn't even do much of that, that the officers changed their approach. They immediately walked up on the scene and arrested the black kid.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
And it happens all the time. You look at our brothers and sisters in the media, the images that they choose to show of a person that's African American versus a person that's not. Sometimes the African American might be the victim in the story, but you put up a mugshot looking picture of the African American person, and the non-African American person, you've got a glamour shot of them, and they maybe are the person accused of murder. Yeah. And it's, it's shocking to me to see, but it's all skewing us in a certain direction. I will tell you the Tafoya comments, particularly the Pollyanna comments that you talked about, that's triggering to me. Like, I don't know what it does to you, but it triggers me. Like, she needed to be off the air at least for a while, because there'll be more people like you and I that will be triggered and get upset. Literally, when I was at Texas A&M at a forum to discuss some of the racial frustrations that were on campus, a student, 19 years old, stood up, a Caucasian student, and said, "I don't understand. You guys should be happy. We let you come to this school. We let you get an education." Literally said those words. Like, I can still feel it, and it goes all through me, because I thought to myself, at the time I was 20 or 21. So number one, I'm ahead of you. You didn't let me in. If anything, I let you in this school because I came before you did. But secondly, so he literally took himself at 19 years old and put himself back to a time period when women and students of color were not allowed to attend A&M, and he grouped himself together with the we. See, that's the issue that I have with the Michelle Tafoya comment, is that she took herself and lumped herself with this slave owner mentality to that group, to then project a message like, it's okay, it's fine, just work the field and you'll be okay. And that's the problem I have, is that if you show me you have a connection to a flawed mentality, to a flawed way of thinking, to a group of people or a time period where things weren't okay, then I'm not buying a lot of what you're selling anymore. Right. Because I don't think you're looking at today in reality. The idea to say players shouldn't be concerned about if they are African American coaches. The league is 70% black. In 5 to 10 years, what do you think the coaching pool should look like? Because you're going to have more and more players turn to be coaches who will be African American. So how do you continue to tell me that the idea that you can't hire more African American coaches in professional sports, and I'm not just talking football, but you can't tell me that's not an issue? Yeah. You can't tell me it's not worthy of conversation, because if I'm a player and I love my sport and I want to make a contribution for the rest of my life in my sport, then coaching is where I'm headed. So I'm concerned about it right now. And while I have a platform as a professional athlete, I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, as they should. And I'm sorry, the whole telling me how good I've got it when you've never walked a day in my shoe. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm not here for it either.
They like to say, miss me on that.
Right, miss me 100% on that.
I will come back and we'll wrap this first segment up on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
Candace Houston. Tune into my new radio show called Candid Plug. Every Saturday from noon to 1, we will have engaging conversations on current events, topics that affect the community, and religion. Join me each Saturday from noon to 1 for my new show called Candid Plug, where you plus me equals us, right here on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on KYOKradio.org.
You're listening to
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
This is Lakeisha, and you're listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Jeff Pearlman, broadcast journalist, said, I heard Michelle was leaving to work for a far-right zealot, and while not surprised, I'm bewildered. We, the sports journalists of America, cover such a wide swath of humanity, people from all different backgrounds, and it's amazing because it allows us to see, understand, and grasp what people have gone through. And if you're a sports journalist and you've been around and you don't see how America has treated blacks differently than whites, you're simply not paying attention.
Point blank, period. As the kids say, that's on everything.
No cap.
No cap.
Yep.
No cap.
Yep.
I mean, and you hate, I think that's the part that we hate about learning something new or something personal about a journalist, is that it makes you feel like some of the broadcasts you've seen were a lie.
Yeah.
It makes me start to question, did you not want to interview some of these people? Maybe were you just forced to? Like, what? It becomes disingenuous, the work that you've done, and the legacy that she's built. She's one of the few female sports journalists to make it to this level. Not saying that the one that makes it must hold the door open and must write a script for everyone else, but there's an expectation that comes with it. That's part of being in that stratosphere. And so it's disappointing and deflating that she could have such a simplistic view of life when we know by her own eyes she's seen much more complexity in the world.
I've had journalists tell me that I've got to be more unbiased. First of all, I've been doing this for 40 years. So the thought that they can tell me what I got to do is but it also makes me wonder, okay, you're telling me I have to be unbiased. Tell me about the times that you have been biased. For instance, when people talk about black coaches that get fired, they get fired. Mm-hmm. But when they talk about a white coach, it's they parted ways.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, here in Houston, Coach David Culley got fired, but offensive coordinator Tim Kelly and the Texans parted ways. They both got fired, or they both parted ways. No such thing as one got fired and the other parted ways. But broadcast journalists feel very justified in writing that same line right behind a line that is a clear disparity in the treatment of two different people.
Well, can I share my one of my coaching techniques with clients has been when they were fired. And I said, I asked them, why are you characterizing it in that way? Why? You can write the story however you want, especially if you're talking. So why not you write the story how you want to? If this was no longer the fit it was in the beginning, I'm happy I've moved on. That's the same result, but now use a different conversation. So words matter. Sports journalists know that. Yeah. That's why you're holding them to a higher standard, because they know their word choice matters. In law school, they always say words don't fall into a problem by accident. Yep. And I feel like words don't fall into a news story by accident, especially from a seasoned journalist. And so, we may not always catch it, but just the average person reading a story, but the choice of photo, the way in which you represent what the person has done. I mean, there are some pro players that have done some absolutely horrendous things in their life, and yet they've gotten opportunity after opportunity, and then others have not. And I asked myself, well, what happened? There's clearly more of a story behind it that we may not always know, but it's not as simple as we think when we just see it on the surface. And that's what I encourage people to hear or listen to the AJs and the Dr. J's and the everybody else, because you'll start to get a more rounded viewpoint, and you should be biased.
Right.
AJ, you wouldn't be you. We
Right.
can't have a vanilla plain, everyone sounds the same. That's actually what ESPN ran into up front when they found this great system with Berman, and then there were just all these copycats, and it just wasn't interesting. I don't want to see a copycat. I want to see the Stuart Scotts. I want to see the individuals and what they bring to the table, the talent. I tell people all the time, people buy differences. They don't buy the same thing.
That's it.
If
I want something, I know where to go and get that.
Look, Ocho Cinco said they're not paying me for my mouth, they're paying me for my feet and my hands. So it's okay to bring exactly who you are and what you are, because that's what people are buying.
Yeah. We got to go to Sybil Wilkes, what you need to know, and I'll come back with some birthdays. Dr. J and I doing what we always do, chopping it up over here on the lunch break. Throwback Thursday on the legendary KYOK. Here is Sybil Wilkes and what you need to know today.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, February 17th, 2022. Number one, as military and diplomatic experts weigh in on whether Russia will indeed complete the move into Ukraine, it bears asking, how will this potential invasion affect the rest of the world? Namely, not just us citizens, but us consumers in the United States. If Russia invades Ukraine, as many expect it will, the greatest impact will be on escalating energy prices. As one of the largest suppliers in the world, increasing prices at the pump will be driven by an invading Russia. But it's not only gas prices that will be affected. It could dictate what groceries we can afford and how we heat our homes. Number two, Joseph H. Rainey was born into slavery in 1832. He went on to become the nation's first Black congressman. He was honored last week at the U.S. Capitol. During his more than 8 years in the House, Congressman Rainey worked to pass civil rights legislation, fund public schools, and guarantee equal protection under the law. Mr. Rainey's great-granddaughter, Lorna Rainey, said in an interview that her great-aunt, Rainey's daughter, used to tell her about him since he was in very few history books. Number three, the CDC is expected to loosen its indoor masking guidelines to states soon. The agency's update could come as early as next week. Nothing has been finalized yet, but the CDC is considering a new benchmark for whether masks are needed, basing it on the level of severe disease and hospitalizations in a given community. New York and a number of other states led by Democratic governors have dropped their mask mandates for private businesses over the last few weeks as the Omicron-fueled surge has abated. Number four, a virtual meeting of a high school's Black student union was interrupted by intruders Friday evening. The incident happened around 6:05 p.m. during a Zoom panel on the Black experience. The intruders used profanity, gory video images, and the N-word. An investigation found the Zoom bombing appeared to be a coordinated attack involving at least 3 people. Number five, February means Black History Month, Valentine's Day, and for some, the beginning of Pisces season. Read more about it in today's newsletter brought to you by Ms. Astrology. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Sometimes you have to talk yourself into doing what is best for you. Okay. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central for a special episode on astrology featuring Ms. Astrology herself. And we will also have comedian AJ Jamal with us. This February, during Black History Month, the American Heart Association is encouraging Black women to reclaim your rhythm and take control of the physical and mental well-being. The American Heart Association will help empower Black women to use music to get our hearts pumping or to rest and relax. Go to @American_Heart on Instagram and check out the different playlists offered. Then vote on your favorite. And I hope you enjoy mine. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, thank you very much there, Sybil Wilkes. She also and Tom Joyner were a couple of my celebrity moments. So anyway, we're back on the lunch break. We got to get ready to do birthdays, Dr. J. I got to say happy birthday to Eric James Hall, 24 years old. Branson Wright, a very capable broadcast journalist. What's up, bro? Kevin Colvin celebrating a birthday with Raphael Fox. He's 51. Macassalan Bernard is 38 with her singing self. Winnie Gore is celebrating her birthday today as well. On the celebrity birthday front, we got a couple of good ones. There's this guy, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, somebody like that. I think he was pretty good in basketball. He's celebrating a birthday today. 5-time NBA MVP, 6-time NBA champ, and somebody that they call the greatest of all time. There was also a guy by the name of Jim Brown who played a little football, and he is celebrating his birthday today. He was born on this day in St. Simons, Georgia. Brian Cox, who used to play linebacker for the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, and the Bears, celebrating his birthday today. And a young lady that plays tennis, who I absolutely love, Madison Keys, is celebrating her birthday today as well. All right, let me let Usher get in here and sing, because Dr. J, can you sing?
It's all on Usher.
Go, shawty, it's your birthday. Ooh, it's your birthday. Go, shawty, it's your birthday. Today's your day. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, happy birthday and happy anniversary to anybody celebrating their birthday or their anniversary, whatever anniversary it is. If it's your boo anniversary, if it's your anniversary for starting your business, graduating, whatever it is, happy birthday, happy anniversary. All right, let's hit the top of the hour right here on the lunch break.
1140 AM, KYOK Conroe, and 92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
In other words, if I say something crazy, don't be trying to hold that against Dr. J. That's me. That's me. That's on me. That's on me. Ain't nothing you need to be doing about it, but just get mad at me. Dr. J, what you do? What you saying? What you got going on this Thursday, Dr. J? What's happening?
You know what? I'm soaking up the idea that Florida is never in the winter ever. So I think we hit 80 degrees today.
Stop.
I'm not really
going through a major snowstorm right now.
I'm not really bragging, but I might be at the beach later on. I'm just saying. It's quite possible. It's quite possible. But I actually have my Pacific t-shirt on. I don't know if you can see it, because tonight Liz's team takes on San Diego. And so I always try to put on some kind of fan support, even if it's all across from the other side of the country, just to get those women, hyped up and ready.
Yeah, I cut my cable cord, and I'm Roku and Fire.
Oh, us too, totally.
TV. I'm all in, and I messed around and found a West Coast sports channel, and I was able to catch Liz balling. I caught Liz, but they did not have an answer for Liz that night. She got anything she wanted. She could go to the hole. She could stop and pop. I was like, that's my niece right there. That's who that is.
I remember that game really well, because it did feel like that. And she's been on a roll. She's had to take a few games break. But she has a knack for taking charges. And while I love that as the competitor in me, the mama in me says, "Oh, baby," every time she does it, she's probably taken 30 to 40 charges.
Wow.
That's a lot. Like that's, and she's been successful like all of, but maybe one time where, they called her for blocking. So it's kind of interesting, but her body needed a few games break after one of her last blocks. So she may get back into the game this one or perhaps on Saturday. So
Saturday, hopefully.
Yeah.
Right. Listen, perfect lead into the guy that we got coming up next is going to join us, Dr. J. He is the founder, creator, and everything else for Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. And Dr. J, he got his own intro music.
Oh.
Tall, light-skinned brother with dimples and glasses. And he knows his basketball. And ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Houston, Roundball Review, Kris Gardner. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? I'm honored to be on the show with Dr. J, man. It's all good. My day's made right now, brother. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know, man. I had to let you know. I ain't afraid to do your intro around nobody, bro. That's you. I'm for real about you, man. You for
and I
real.
Appreciate that. And because you, my name has gone from local to global perspective. So it's all because you, brother. Global perspective. AJ Jones gave me that. So much love to you.
Man, we appreciate you as always. Dr. J's sitting there with us. You're gonna be seeing a little bit more of her than before. And
works for me.
Talking about her daughter who plays for Pacific. And she came out of IMG Academy. And I just saw on the news that IMG Academy has the tallest basketball player in the world at that age group.
He's like 15. Oh, it's crazy tall. Like it's just, I think he's like 7'5" or 7'6".
Wow.
Right now. And it's so funny because all of his friends are like normal height. And so just to see him like at football games at IMG, and they're like all around his waist, and he's just talking to him like normal, but he's literally, and they're just having a ball. But yeah, he's a normal kid, right? Does normal kid things while he's at IMG Academy developing. But the school it's an attraction piece for all over the world. You know, the school is 60% international kids.
Yeah, where is he from? I was going to ask you, where is he from?
I don't remember right offhand, but it's not the United States. Yeah, it's not the United States. Yeah, it's not the United States.
Is it India or an African country?
No, he's not Indian.
I would say South America. Yeah, I would either say he's got a South America look, or even like a Middle Eastern, somewhere around there.
I'm trying to remember the article. I don't have it in front of me, but I think he's from the Middle East. And what I loved about his parents, they talked about the environment at IMG. They talked about how he feels so right at home at IMG. He's not being made to feel like he's different. And I love that because, like you said, it's 7'5", 7'6", and all your other friends are, 5'5", 5'6", 5'7". There's a little bit of a difference there.
Well, they cap out at around 1,500 students at IMG Academy, and everyone there plays a sport. So I say everyone, maybe there's about 50 kids that don't play a sport. They may be the sibling of someone else that are just attending the school. But everybody there, a large majority of kids are focused on getting D1 scholarships and going on to do big things with their schools. So it's a different conversation in the classroom when, it's like not about just getting the car and being the cool kid. It's about getting the endorsement deal. It's about, it's about going on, saying where you're going to be. I mean, Liz got there her freshman year. One of her classmates had just signed a $1 million Nike deal. He was 15 years old in soccer. And that was one of her classmates. So what do they talk about, right? Like, so it's a different conversation than you would have at a regular school. So it's so athlete friendly. That it's crazy. It's tough right now for them with the pandemic because athletes are drawn to each other, and the pandemic has had them to still stay distanced and whatnot. So I think that has been a challenge for student athletes, not just at IMG but everywhere, having to try to be in their sport but still keep up with mask mandates and distancing and all of that. It's just a new way to operate as an athlete.
Yeah. In fact, Kris, I know you're probably aware of this school, but one of your former alumni at Texas A&M, Carrie Brown, and her husband have started the Legacy School of Sports Sciences, where, again, they're sports focused, but not just playing. They talk about general managership. They talk about ownership. They talk about front office preparation and that kind of thing. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they win in state championships. So it's a great setup. And, I absolutely love it. One thing Kris and I talk about a lot is you can't teach size. You can't teach.
Correct. Rockets.
Yeah.
Rockets.
And when I look at how the Rockets have lost 6 in a row playing that fake imitation of defense, I'm just like, man. And Kris, let's get right into that, man.
Real quick, does Olivier?
Yes.
That's him. Olivier Roux. Is that his last name? That sound
Oh
like
yes.
Okay, yeah, wow. Mom is 6'2", dad 6'8", and he's 7'5". Okay. Wow.
And still growing.
Wow. And wears a size 20 shoe. Bless his heart. Wow.
Yep. Kris, how you got your 5 starters score 17 or more and you forget to play defense when you needed to play it the most and you lose 124-121?
But after the game, they said they played good defense most of the game. They did say that. They did.
Notice I said, I chose my words very carefully. Dr. J. I said, did not play defense when they needed it the most. And I know folks gonna roll their eyes and pull a hamstring when I say this. Even James Harden figured out how to play defense at the times he needed it the most to get stops, to get turnovers, to knock the ball away, to do something. The Rockets could have won that game last night if they had stepped up defensively at the right time.
Yes, and that James Harden is dead.
I'll leave it alone. Y'all not going to keep talking about
the 29-year-old James Harden, not the one that exists now. But last night, and this is without Chris Paul, he got ejected on a bogus.
Very bogus.
That was awful.
The ref bumped into him and gave him the tee for the second tee. I hope the league rescinds that today.
I like the way, and I don't normally like what Bleacher Report does, but Bleacher Report put a warning label on the video, that this was extreme violence, that Chris Paul attacked the referee, please view at your own risk. And then they showed the play, and everybody's like, man, that's crazy.
And did you see, we'll get back to the Rockets defense in a second. Did you see or read the official report, referee report after the game about it?
No, what did it say?
The lead official, because it wasn't the guy who bumped into Chris Paul, said Chris Paul received the second technical for bumping into the official. He said that 3 times for bumping into the official. Pool reporter asked him, okay, so what was the reason for the second technical? Chris Paul bumped into the official. He said it 3 times in the report, and really? Okay, so I'm hoping the NBA rescinds that technical because that was bogus. I mean,
they need to rescind the technical and they need to sit that crew down for a minute. Just saying.
Oh, that referee is he has a track record for let me use my words carefully. Questionable officiating. I'll just say that. A quick temper. Let's go with that. A quick temper. Let's do that.
Who was the ref? What was the ref's name?
JT
Do you remember?
Orr, I think.
Oh, okay.
JT Orr, I think is his name. But the Rockets could not stop the Phoenix Suns list Chris Paul down the stretch, and the Suns got hot, and the Rockets lost by 3 despite the great ball movement. Did y'all check the game out? Because I did not hear the comment from Ryan Hollins, but he said apparently that the Rockets ball movement was better last night because they know that they'll pass it because they know they'll get it back.
I didn't hear that comment.
Taking a shot at Christian Wood.
Okay.
But Kris, I mean, I did not play basketball, but I'm a student to some extent of the game. Players take possessions off on defense, right?
Yes.
And so it's a high scoring offensive game. Were they just a little tired? Pumpkin's just a little tired. Were they just a little tired, AJ? Is that they just took their possessions off at the wrong time? They can't catch their breath, AJ. They can't do that. No, just three more points. That's all it is.
Look, I'm trying not to go off. In fact, I really want to go to a break before I go off because I don't.
Okay.
This is a young team, right?
Yes.
I'll be right back after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
11:40 a.m. and 92.3 FM.
Hi, this is Sade from Gardner and Belford, and you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, I'm sorry. Y'all made me miss all my commercials. I don't even remember what they were, so let me get back in it. It's a young team. What they taking breaks for? You got to dig down deep. Remember back in the day when Duke used to slap the court? That means they about to be up. I'm sorry, I cannot get, and I'm trying to be. Kris is gonna talk me off the ledge. I'm trying to be patient and understand this is a young team. I'm not expecting them to win 35, 40 games. This is a young team. I want them in the lottery pool for this upcoming draft, but I just can't tolerate just shoddy defense when you know now is the time. If you haven't played defense all game long, now you got to get a stop. Now you got to stick with your man. Now you got to switch. Now you got to call out the picks. Now you've got to do the little things well, and they don't do that, and that eats me up. Kris, go ahead. I'm listening.
But notice these two games, and against Utah, well, let's say last night because it was Dennis Schroeder's really first game with a chance to practice with the team and get like that. You saw him during the game come out of timeouts, or even after blown opportunities to get stops in transition, getting the guys together, pulling them together. Come on, guys. Talking to them, imploring them to do better on defense. And this second game with the team. So he's already taken a leadership role with the team. This shows you Eric Gordon, not that guy. Vocal leaders. Chris Wood, not a vocal leader. Or Chris Wood, I'm beginning to wonder how much respect he has in the locker room, honestly. Based on how you see and they played without him last night. The ball movement was better and all that kind of stuff. So, but 2 games in, Dennis Schroeder is leading the team vocally, imploring them to play better defense. AJ, you should like this guy. The fans love him already. And this despite the man, he had 6 turnovers last night. And the fans still, they're okay. They're just glad somebody's called him out for defense. Okay.
I like how you put it up on your YouTube page. I said these guys just need somebody to take leadership and to take lead. And I it's like you said, 2 games in, and we're talking about a guy who just got here talking about I need to be the guy to step up and take the leadership. Where's the leadership been?
It's like I said, Eric Gordon has never been a vocal leader. He leads by example in the locker room. And previous teams with the Rockets, it was Chris Paul, Russ, James to a lesser extent, vocally.
I saw that, Dr. J.
Yeah, I saw that. We saw that too. Yeah, radio positivity. We saw that. Yeah.
We'll never forget. Kris and I were sitting. Either he was in front of me, I was behind him. After they lost Game 7 in the NBA Western Conference Finals, and everybody was asking, why did you not tell the guys to stop trying to shoot threes and just score the basket? He's like, I kept telling them, come on, guys, let's go. And I remember saying, if that's the way you said it, I wouldn't have listened to you either. Chris Paul would have said, I'm going to beat you up if you take another. I swear for God, I'm going to beat you up if you try to take another 3 before this game is over. They would have listened to that. But James was like, I tried to tell him, come on, guys, let's go.
I gave similar advice to Liz, who was on a team at one point that was a lot of me ball, a lot of selfish. The play is set up for her to pass it and to quickly pass it back. She's open. She never got the ball back, and she would be upset. And I said, you know what? This is what I would do. But this is my personality. Not everybody's the same. I said, I would tell that person, I will eat this ball and it will digest out of me before I hand the ball back to you if you don't give it back. It would be so clear as to what's about to go down, but that's the way I communicate. So to your point, Kris, those strong communicators, if they're not there, and AJ, if they're not there, they're just not there. Now, I will point this out, AJ. I'm tapping you on the hand. Duke and a professional team are 2 different teams.
I got you.
Them hitting that court, they were hungry. But how hungry do some of them get with millions sitting in their bank account? You got to ask yourself, maybe they start to make it okay, even if it's subconsciously, to take a few possessions off, because that check coming once a week on Tuesday in the NBA. Okay, it's coming. It's coming, as long as they don't break morality clauses. And so you just have to ask yourself, where do they find the motivation? Because that motivation was to get to the pro level, and so now for them to have that Duke mentality, what is it that's giving them that motivation? And they do need a strong leader in the locker room to muster that up, because it's in them. They made it to that level because it's in them.
Right.
It absolutely is. And I don't think it's age. I don't think it's fatigue. We're too late in the season for them to be tired.
Right.
So that should not be it either. I think it's a will.
Yeah.
It is pure motivation.
Yeah.
I've said that. Chris has said that. Defenses want to. You got to want to play some defense. Yeah, you got to want to play some defense. Chris, I know the Rockets go to LA tonight to take on the Clippers 9:30. I feel like they're going to go into the All-Star break having lost 7 in a row. Let's talk about the story last night that was just unbelievable. New York Knicks blew a what? A
28-point lead.
28-point lead and lost to Brooklyn.
With who did not have Kevin Durant,
JD.
Kyrie, Ben Simmons, Joe Harris.
Who played the coaches?
And the star was Cam Thomas, a rookie from LSU. So we let him up for
Speaking
24.
of coaches, a guy that I like because he is a defensive-minded, fundamental coach is reportedly getting kicked out of the honeymoon phase in New York, and that's Tom Thibodeau.
Yes.
Chris, make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense.
And this was their third blown 20-point lead or more this month, because they lost to OKC blowing a big lead there. So they've done it 3 times, I think, in February. So Tibbs has lost the locker room apparently, and his personality. We're talking about personalities.
Yeah.
He is old school to his bones.
Yeah.
And this team isn't. And they did not take long to tune him out. And the Knicks traded for Cam Reddish how long ago, AJ? 3 weeks? It's not okay. He's barely played. He has barely played since the trade. So Tibbs is like, well, I don't care if I traded for him. I'm not going to play him. So, I mean, that's the way it looks. You traded for him? Okay, good for you. Doesn't mean I'm going to play him. Well,
you know me. I don't know how I got this empath feeling for fan bases. Based on what the Knicks fan base got to experience last year, especially that run in the playoffs, to get to this right now, come on, man. They deserve better than that.
You sound like Stephen A. Smith.
I'm not trying to. I'm really not trying.
Because literally, if you haven't seen the clip, part of, I guess, the post game from last night, whatever, he's in studio. His lead into is about 2.5 minute just rant. He said, I have a very good friend of mine, is a New York Knicks fan just like me. He texted me, and the first, this is the lead into it. He texted me, praise to the Lord, blessing to you, brother. We as Knicks fans deserve better than this.
Bruh.
That's what he said.
Bruh.
And then he went off. He just went off.
Dr. J, didn't I say this is one of those days where all these coincidences and stuff like that are happening?
I'm telling you. Well, it is a product, right? It's a sports product. We can say what we want, but the business side is what is out on that court is a sports product, and fans buy that product. So if they ain't buying it, and if the players ain't buying it, this is not going to end very well.
I mean, you have to y'all have to see it, because Stephen A. He said, Spike Lee, stop going to the games. Tracy Morgan, stop going to the games.
Yeah.
I'm done with the Knicks. They're a national disgrace. Fans, stop spending your money going to these games. The GM, Leon Rose, where has he been? We ain't seen him in a minute. You need to put out an APB for this man. Where is he? I mean, he just went down the list.
And Jim Dolan is not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything because he's looking at that bottom line. And, when everybody was calling for him to sell the team and have to give up the team and everything like that, that man is making far too much money to ever think about selling that team. And Doc, I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to fire Tibbs? Is Tibbs going to lose his job because of this?
Yes. I think it's a matter of time.
All right, so let me take a break. When I come back, we were talking about biases and disparities on how certain people are treated. I want to ask a question about that. Don't let me forget. Talking about Coach Tibbs. We'll do it when we come back. I got Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective, and I got Dr. J, Jennifer Thibeaux, on the show, on the lunch break, on the legendary KYOK.
Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner. I wake up every day to work for our community, and Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo does too. When the pandemic hit, she put people ahead of politics and fought for our communities. When they came after our right to vote, she fought back by extending voting hours and tripling early vote locations. I'm with Lena Hidalgo because she's with us. Join me in voting for Lena Hidalgo. Early vote is February 14th to February 25th. Election day is March the 1st.
Political advertisement paid for by Lena Hidalgo for Harris County.
Are you looking to start a business? From side hustles to major business opportunity, Franchise 123 connects franchise buyers with sellers. And we have over 4,000 franchises for you to choose from. In one simple 30-second call, our live agents will sign you up to the platform. This is not a hard sales call either. We give you free access to our database. Yes, free access, no cost. We are the largest online franchise database in the world. You can find 95% of all businesses. Buying a franchise doesn't have to be complicated. We make it easy, and right now, some have no startup fees. You can turn your special skill into a franchise business, or go full scale with all the top franchise businesses in the world. Sign up with
Y'all are
Franchise
ridiculous.
123 now, and get your free guide to franchise success now. Call 800-419-5344, 800-419-5344, or text Franchise 123 to 63566. Text Franchise 123 to 63566.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
Table Talk with your boy, TD Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. See you there.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show.
All right, y'all, we're going in next.
Your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 a.m. and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
You're listening to the lunch break on KYOK. You heard?
Yeah, I heard. In fact, I was hanging out with those ladies on Monday night. Those are the Lady Tigers of the Texas Southern University, and they pulled out a quality win. 87-77 over a very game Southern Lady Jag squad. And I got to tell you, man, I love the way Coach Coop flipped that defense. She got out of that zone. She got out of that man-to-man, and they pressed. They did like a real 3-1-1 press, and they got multiple turnovers, man. I enjoyed it. Got a chance to talk with Coach Coop after the game, and I'll be back out there for the big matchup against Jackson State. I think that'll be on the 26th. So, Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. Dr. J, Jennifer Thibeaux. We were talking earlier about biases and differences about how folks are treated. Coaches, players, general managers, you name it. Coach Tibbs, if he loses this job, will have lost multiple jobs because of, quote unquote, his style, his approach, his hardline nature. Does he get another shot in the NBA as a head coach if he gets fired for his situation in New York?
Probably, but it's going to be a minute. And I'm not sure what owner will give him another opportunity, but I think ultimately he'll get another head coaching job. Yes.
Dr.
So
J,
yes.
Should he?
He was NBA's Coach of the Year in 2021. We're just in 2022. I think he's going to rely on that. I think that's going to be the great reason why someone says maybe just a bad fit with the Knicks, but he'll be a great fit with us. It's pretty hard to say that Coach of the Year last year can't have a gig. I don't care what happened, unless you did something criminal. I think he's going to get a job. I think they're going to put him in the G League to rehab him just a bit, potentially.
Okay.
And then and then just to move him when there's an opportunity. But I know that he will. Now let me say this too, because I'm looking at I my husband's a coach. I always look at people's coaching record, like not record, but where they've been, how long they've been in different places. I mean, this is only his actual second head coaching gig.
But he lost the other one for the same reason.
Okay, but this is just he only has had 2 tries. Now, come on, AJ. That is not how this works.
All right, now watch this. Let me take the door you opened, counselor. Let me take the door you opened. There was a man, it's Black History Month, right? There was a man by the name of Don Chaney, who is the first Black head coach of the Houston Rockets, who was the NBA Coach of the Year, and got fired the next year, and has never been another head coach after that. Never. Now, how does Tibbs get another chance, and Don Chaney, who set it up for Rudy T to win back-to-back championships, and was the NBA Coach of the Year, how did man never get another job as a head coach?
Well, we are comparing the 80s to the 2020s. Okay, so let's be fair.
If it was Chris Gardner, I would have got him for that. But because of you got a good point.
We are comparing 2 different time frames.
Yeah, that's
because I'm just gonna say in the 80s, I'm just gonna pull a conversation we had minutes ago. There was a ref named Crawford too that changed a lot of outcomes for games in the 80s. This is not, so it's hard to compare those of that amount of time frames, because the NBA has started operating differently from the 80s to the 2020s. Do they do a lot of things the same? Yes. Do they do some things worse than they did in the 80s? Yes. That's absolutely is yes, and yes. But he will have another opportunity, and I venture to say it's going to be less than 365 days after he gets fired. They're just literally going to blame the bad circumstance on the bad Knicks, and it's going to be blame the inanimate object in the room and not blame him as a coach. He'll get another opportunity, and hopefully he'll be set up for success, because some coaches, they keep placing you in different places and you keep failing. At some point, it can't just be the organization. It has to be the person. I get it. But I'm just telling you, the formula that exists today, the structure, the way that it works, there's no way. I feel strongly in 2022, there's no way the coach of the year from 2021 is going to be unemployed if he doesn't want to be. Now, he may choose to take a break, to let things cool off and go on the studio, but he's not
he definitely ain't a good studio.
Not a studio person. But he'll do something. He'll do NBA Cares. He'll go to Africa and do the goodwill things for NBA. Seriously, like I'm being said, he will go and do all of those things and be the face for the NBA.
Sure.
Repair his image, and it will just be a perfect entree back into the rock. No, I'm kidding, not the Rockets, but to whatever the circumstance is. I miss Chaney. That was some good years. Man. That was some good times.
But AJ,
yes,
Don Chaney did coach the Pistons after he left the Rockets.
He sure did. You're right. Mm-hmm. I stand correct.
Didn't win a lot.
But when did he coach after that? Head coach.
He coached the Knicks too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
My whole argument. Strike that from the record.
See?
Don't.
Shame on you.
Strike that from the record. I stand corrected, man. I look now.
Chaney's on your phone right now. Like, man, what? So that was nothing. but
my whole argument.
But let me tell you, that idea, that system of killing a person's career, that has been a part of the NBA for a while, right? If we want to pull Houston into this, I'll pull Houston into this by a man named Ralph Sampson. Yep. When Ralph left and he went to the Pacers, Don Nelson was the coach. They got into it. His butt sat down. The whole thing changed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
His whole outcome changed. No, not the Pacers, the Nuggets.
Warriors.
The Warriors.
Joe barely cares. Yeah. big man.
But when coaches decide this is it, this is it, right? Yeah. I saw that a lot in Dallas, right? Dallas had some great moments, but when Rick Carlisle did not believe in you, it was like you were exiting. Rondo, Rajon Rondo, same thing. And I love me some Rajon Rondo. I love his court vision. I love to see and catch up 5 seconds later what he saw 10 seconds before us all. Like I love watching him play, but he was not a good fit. And when it's not, then it just becomes just ugly and players start taking plays off.
And that's a great point, Dr. J, because Rondo with Dallas, we thought he was done.
Right.
And then he somehow
new life.
New team, new life. Oh, he can still play. Oh yeah, imagine that. So yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
On point.
Yeah, no, very good point. Dr. J with us along with Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, Throwback Thursday. So let me just go back to Tibbs for a second. Tibbs took the number 4 team in the East last season to where they are now. Does he survive that?
I don't think so. I mean, they're going to make him the fall guy, the scapegoat, whatever cliche,
right.
All that. It wouldn't shock me if he's let go during this break.
Yeah.
I mean, because last night's loss should have been it, because folks are like the previous ones. Well, this is rock bottom. Last night could have been just it. I mean,
last night was the rocks below rock bottom.
Yes.
Below the rocks that are on top of the rocks of rock bottom. Last night was those rocks right there. Yeah.
I think so.
That was bad.
And see, this is me. I try to put myself in the locker room, right? If all 3 of us are players, knowing we have incentives in our contracts from a production standpoint, if it ain't happening, and I think it's the coach, the change of coach would allow me to make my incentives so that I can make the money I want to make, that I intended to make this season, then I'm a player. I'm grumbling. I'm rumbling. I'm not doing anything to make him look good.
Yeah.
Because they have to go. Mm-hmm. And so maybe that was part of the strategy. It shouldn't be, but maybe that's part of the strategy. But at the end of the day, everybody's got to go home and put food on the table for their family. Even if the table seats 30 people, they still have to do that. So I don't know. For the Knicks, it may be there may be an effort, and he will be a scapegoat. I think this would be a great opportunity for him to leave in the middle of the season at the All-Star break and allow some players to meet their performance incentives for their money.
Let's go over from one coast to the other coast. Does Frank Vogel finish the year as the head coach of the LA Lakers? Kris Gardner.
Yes, I think the injury to AD gives him an out. So yeah, I mean, they came back and won, so he'll survive this season. Summertime, yeah, I think he's done. Yeah.
Dr. J, what do you think?
Well, it's so crazy. It feels like I watch a soap opera when I watch a Lakers game, because I don't know what team's going to show up. I don't know how big the swing in points are going to be. I see bickering and infighting when I watch them play, which is always a bad sign. It reminds me of Oklahoma back when the big 3 were there, right? Where they have all the talent, but they just cannot pull it together. I think for sure Frank is gone at the end of the season. I'd love to see him exit stage left as well early, and to maybe give one of their assistants an opportunity just to finish coaching as the acting head coach for the rest of the season. I really would.
Is it Teasdale if Vogel goes either at the end of the year or now? Kris?
No, I can't. What is it? Coach Handy, Phil Handy's name. I think he'd get a chance at the job to finish out the season first. But the news earlier this week, management has apparently told the players, this is all on you. Wow. The players, y'all made this bed, y'all asked for this trade, y'all asked to make these moves, y'all got to fix it. And then apparently they said this year's team will be next year's team too. Y'all got to fix this mess. I'm like, really? Okay.
And so and then Jerry Buss wept from heaven.
Yes.
That's Jerry Buss wept from heaven.
Speaking of, I got Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. We got Dr. J, amazing broadcaster journalist. There was a published report that said that Jeannie Buss needs to stop consulting with Magic Johnson. how are they trying to make Magic Johnson the fall guy for Rob Pelinka, Kurt Rambis, and others? How is this falling back on Magic Johnson? Kris, your thoughts?
It makes no sense when we've heard, seen, read that Kurt Rambis has stuck his nose, toe, foot, fingers all in the pie this season, last season, and is part of this mess. Magic's just observing from afar, and he's Magic Johnson, okay? Kurt Rambis' NBA career is because of Magic Johnson, okay? So let's just be real about that. But I mean, folks just going to put a spin on him. It's not Magic's fault. You know, he may. I promise you, if Rob Pelinka talked to Magic and said, "Hey," because the deal with Buddy Hield, the trade was done. Okay, I think it was even reported by a national media person, sports person, and then an hour later, oh nope, Lakers changed their minds. They got traded for Russell Westbrook now, huh? So Rob Pelinka messed up right there. It's Rob Pelinka's fault. Period.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Dr. J. There are times when Rob Pelinka gets all the credit, like he did all of this, especially when they won the championship. And now somehow it's not Rob Pelinka or Kurt Rambis, it's Magic.
Well, you know, Magic is Twitter famous. Come on now. he is Magic to the people. Is the Lakers forever and a day. I know we still have Kareem floating around, but Magic is the most visible character and figure from a magical time with the Lakers, and he is not afraid to make a comment. He's not afraid when the team loses and they don't feel bad about losing. That hurts him to his soul, to his core, to who he is. So he talks about it. So anything that happens with the Lakers, I'm curious, what does Magic have to say about it? Because to me, he's demonstrated he cares the most about the Lakers on the planet. That's just the perception. It might not be reality, but that's the perception. So yes, in good times, they don't give him credit, but in bad times, it's very easy because the public is already sold on the idea that he's a big influencer in their decision making. The public is sold on it.
I agree with all of that. Let me flip it real quick, Kris. The Houston Cougars decided to make you right and me wrong. I said a couple of weeks ago that I said last week that before the Cougars lost that game to Memphis, they were in the Final Four discussion. I mean, they were in the number one seed discussion, and they proceeded not only to lose to Memphis, but they lost the game after that. And I was just like, okay, my bad. Chris Carter knows what he's talking about. I don't.
They lost to SMU Wednesday, then lost to Memphis Saturday. So yeah, SMU's lost on the road. Memphis at home has snapped all kinds of streaks. The 37 game home winning streak, the first time to lose back-to-back games in 5 years, which is a great accomplishment right there. But it was a matter of time. The lack of guard depth finally caught up to them, and some of their key players have hit their wall, not making shots right now. So they weren't going to go undefeated in conference play, despite the fact some national media think this conference is trash. That's not the case whatsoever. And even if it were trash, it's still hard to go undefeated in a sorry conference. And this conference is not sorry. So they get a chance to bounce back, start a new streak tonight, 8 o'clock in town against UCF.
Yep. Dr. J, they hurry up and made me out to be a lie. They were like, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me show you how we're not a number one seed.
Well, did they have their full squad? Because COVID has been hitting every single team like crazy on top of regular injuries. Was it a matter of they didn't have their full squad out?
No. The injuries caught them. They got the COVID hit in December. Went through the teams. Yep. They got that out the way. But right after that, oddly enough, I think around Christmas time, 2 of their 3 best players were lost for the season for injuries.
Right.
They've had season-ending surgery.
So that hurts. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time before it all caught up to them, and it caught up to them last week.
Real quick before I take our break, and I want to talk TSU men when we come back. The Lady Cougars of U of H got a nice little win over Eastern Carolina last night, 67-55. You leave my friend alone. You leave my friend Coach Huey alone. He got a win, and I'm celebrating like it was the conference championship. What?
And it's his 100th win in his coaching career.
Yeah.
So kudos to him.
Yeah.
It took him 8 seasons to get it.
Bye, man. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch. Kris, that hate don't look good on you, man. Leave that alone. We'll be right back on the lunch break of the legendary KYOK.
Tune into my radio show called
That's fact, man. That's fact.
From noon to 1. We will have engaging conversations on current events.
Oh my God.
Community and
My man Andy on this point, he said, man, this is his 8th year, man. That's 12.5 wins a year. That's all it is.
You tell Andy Yana, as I said, that hate don't look good on him either.
here on the legendary
That's a fact, though, man. It's a fact.
and streaming live on
I'm just.
KYOK.org.
Please.
They recruited my child, so I just.
Oh, what I need to talk to you, Doc. Give me your impressions on him. I need to talk to you
offline.
Off
Yes, yeah. I definitely have some.
To see if it correlates to what I've heard from other parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it does.
You see this shirt? Pacific. Look.
Don't panic.
Talk about AJ's friend, though, so let's be quiet.
That's your friend, Coach?
I ain't listening to neither one of y'all.
That's good. Everybody needs diversity of friends. That's good.
I either have family or children. I ain't got no friends. You either family or you my child. Anything else?
Is it family?
Family.
But seriously, I would like to talk to you about that.
Oh yeah, I'm just fine. Yeah, I'm good with it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I think I will have a perspective you're probably interested in.
Okay, cool.
G Solo, professional women's football player, and hey, she ain't on that offense. She's on that defense, and try to run the ball on 4th and 1. You're going to think that's Aaron Donald over there because she put a hit on you and get up and tell you, get off the field. Wow. That's my friend G Solo with the Houston Energy. Got to get back out there and see them play when they start up. All right, let me get ready to wrap this up with Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, Dr. J, Throwback Thursday. All right, Southern men.
Real quick, can I say, just touch on this from the first hour. The person that would leave me just stupid if I met her, Pam Grier. Okay, Pam Grier. I lost my mind when Pam Grier retweeted something. And I lost it. I lost it. Okay, I'm like, Pam Grier, man.
You were done, right? Hit the floor. Done.
You better come through. Pam Grier retweeted something you put out there. That's strong, bro. That's strong.
Man.
I would have that screenshot as my back my safer.
Oh my goodness, bro. I forgot. I was so messed up. I didn't even do that.
Oh, Kris. I hear you, bro. I hear you because I have been absolutely ridiculous around some people. Shaquille O'Neal being one of them. Like
Pam Grier. I lost.
Dr. J, do not tell him that I said that. Don't do that.
I won't.
Because I feel like the third time is the charm. I'm gonna be real good this next time. Whatever it happens,
I'm gonna make that happen because I do want to see if you're gonna be a leader. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Maybe it's easier, like if it's in this format where he's just piped in, so all he's doing is just being this imposing figure, like in the screen, versus dipping his head into the room when he walks in. That's a different experience. That's a different guy.
Is I'm getting nervous thinking about it. I'm like, when you said that, I was like, oh, wait.
Come on, man. Shaq is a good dude, man. He's hilarious.
Oh my God. I'm my head. I'm sweating on my forehead already. Okay, so here we go. Southern and Texas Southern got together Monday night in the battle for first place in the SWAC. I got to be honest with you, man. I was surprised at how much more physical Southern was than TSU and how ice cold Southern's defense made TSU's 3-point shooting go. In fact, TSU's point guard, Gilliam, 1 for 11, and it was not for lack of trying, to the point where he was in his head, he was making dumb mistakes. Coach Jones had some very strong words for him when he pulled him out for the last time in the game. And this is going to sound crazy. My one thought, how did Prairie View beat this Southern team over the weekend before that matchup against Texas Southern?
I think Prairie View's win over Southern Saturday hurt TSU because Southern was like, we're not losing both of these games in Texas. So they amped it up Monday night, and TSU's defense, the offense went ice cold. I mean, they could not make a shot, but Southern locked in on defense, and they were like, we're going 1-1. We're not losing both games in Texas. So they made sure of that.
Yeah, they literally, Dr. J, they literally made everything count. Every foul that they committed, it counted. Every block, every charge, whatever it was they did, that coach had gotten into those Jags' heads of making count, and it ended up being the difference in that game.
Pride. You got that Jaguar pride. Yep. You got that pride. I mean, that's the thing I see that's missing a lot sometimes. It's just you might beat me, but ain't no way you're gonna beat me by no big large amount of points. I have too much pride in that. I'm gonna play to the very last second of whatever it is. I have too much pride. And we see that's when it's lacking, it shows.
It really did. And I'm glad you said that, because it made things that I saw but didn't have words for make sense now. Mm-hmm. Southern looked like the team that rode into that game on a 6-game winning streak. Southern looked like the team that was making a serious push for the #1 spot in the SWAC. Not sharing it, it's ours, without question. Southern came into that game looking like the best team on the floor. And
they proved it. And TSU, I mean, they had a 3-point win Saturday. It was on TV. Maybe they got comfortable. You know, maybe folks who had not seen them play hit up their phones or social media. Hey, man, I saw you on TV. Looking good. And then the fellas are like, oh, who's our next game? Monday? Yeah, we got this. And Southern's like, okay, we lost to Prairie View. And in their minds could have been like, we lost to Prairie View. I mean, really? We got to do better. Who's the next TSU? They're going to pay. And that's what happened.
Well, they definitely made them pay. So now we head into this weekend. Saturday, it'll be Texas Southern is visiting Mississippi Valley State. And then you turn around on Monday, and they've got Arkansas Pine Bluff. They can't lose either of those games.
Oh, no. Valley should be TSU. Valley should be in trouble. I mean, they should get stomped Saturday because Valley is just not very good. And Valley's one win in SWAC play on the men's side is over Prairie View. So go figure that, man.
Yeah. I'm looking here. Southern hosts Grambling Saturday at 5:30. And then let's see, Southern does not play that Monday game.
Yeah,
so
it's their rivalry matchup. So
I was going to say that's a rivalry matchup. So we literally could come out of this weekend with Texas Southern back in first place in the SWAC if Grambling wins and Texas Southern takes both of those wins over the Saturday and Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's going to happen like that, but yeah, it could. Yes.
Okay. All right. At the end of the day, you want to be in the what? Top 8? They take the top 8 to the tournament. Texas Southern is there.
Yes, and Prairie View they're getting off the border of missing the tournament because like 2 weeks ago, it was concerned they were not going to make the SWAC tournament. So they're getting better positioning for it, but it's tight.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then if we go to the women's side, same situation with Coach Coop. They have snuck up to the number 3, number 4 spot in the SWAC.
With Prairie View.
With Prairie View. Jackson State sitting on top, undefeated.
Best team in conference.
But will they finish undefeated is my question. Do you think they will?
Because it's so hard to do, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
But I mean, they got a great shot. So,
Dr. J, you've seen the women play. You've seen the women play. Your daughter does it, every game. Have you seen times where a team comes into that game, the clear favorite, and they end up not pulling it out?
Absolutely. Even with Pacific, two games ago, Pacific beat Portland, who is toward the top of the WCC. So you always say at any given game, Pacific's record is not remarkable this season. That's a very nice way of saying it's not a great record. So teams take that for granted. And we can sit this one out. We can take these plays off, and you get a hungry team like a Pacific that just wants one more win, just one more. They're not they're not going to make a tournament. If they make it to the NCAA tournament, it's because they won the WCC conference. So I mean, like that, only
like
wins.
your man Houston, like Houston, AJ.
So the only way out of these predicaments is winning, right? And so those are the most dangerous teams to play against. But what you're going to also see, I think, especially on the women's side, is coaches tend to start sitting their women's players in the last 2 to 3 games if they're already up in the WCC. The top 2 teams get a bye in the first round of the tournament, so that you actually get a chance to really rest some of your top players in that conference in particular. So at the end, that's where that perfect record goes away. If all of a sudden some of the best are either mentally taking it off, or maybe the coach just sits them assuming we can beat this team, but that team is not taking it off and just wants one more win from a pride standpoint, that's where those records start falling.
Yeah, no, very good point. Looking at the standings for the women in the SWAC right now, Jackson State 13-0, Alabama State 9-4. Then you got Prairie View, Alabama A&M, Southern, and TSU all tied at 8-5. And then Grambling is on that number 8 cusp at 7-6. The Lady Tigers of Texas Southern go to Mississippi Valley Saturday at 2:00, and then Monday they're at Pine Bluff at 5:30. In front of the big matchup on Saturday night, 5:30, when Jackson State comes to Houston. Kris, your thoughts? What do they have to do, and what will they most likely do Saturday at Valley and then Monday at Pine Bluff?
Oh, they should beat Valley. Pine Bluff, former TSU star Joyce Skinnerson is at Pine Bluff. So, and Coach Don Brown is there too. So that game means something to both programs. So yes, that's going to be spicy.
I forgot Don was there. I need to call her
yes,
ahead of that game and see if we can't get her on. I'll reach out to her tonight. See if we can't get her on, maybe even tomorrow if we can.
So let me know if you can make it happen, because I'm trying to. I reached out to Coach Pugh from Prairie View, try to get an interview with her as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah,
for both TSU programs.
Y'all, I hate to do it. We got to get ready to go. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review. Tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, my brother.
Thank you, my man, as always, for being on the lunch break. I'm Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, Houston Roundball Review on Instagram, Twitter, a little bit different. Some folks say the HR Review. So Houston Roundball Review has been around since 1994. Local name, global perspective.
There he is. Dr. J, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you.
Absolutely. You can just go to my website, jenniferthibeaux.com. If that's too much to spell, if you just go to @JenThibeaux on Twitter, there's links everywhere. All my social media is @JenThibeaux. So just connect. Let's connect, and talk sports.
Like I said, you're going to be seeing more of her. We'll tell you more about that in the days to come. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. We do love y'all. There's nothing you can do about it. Dr. J, Kris, y'all have a great rest of your day, all right?
You too, man. Love you.
You too.
All right, love you too.
Yep.
All right, y'all. We got to get ready to go. Sybil Wilkes up next with quick what you need to know, and then Donnie McClurkin with the Donnie McClurkin Show. I'll be back tomorrow with Freestyle Friday here on The Lunch Break. Y'all be blessed.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, February 17th, 2022. Number 1, as military and diplomatic experts weigh in on whether Russia will indeed complete the move into Ukraine, it bears asking, how will this potential invasion affect the rest of the world, namely not just us citizens, but us consumers in the United States. If Russia invades Ukraine, as many expect it will, the greatest impact will be on escalating energy prices. As one of the largest suppliers in the world, increasing prices at the pump will be driven by an invading Russia. But it's not only gas prices that will be affected. It could dictate what groceries we can afford and how we heat our homes. Number 2, Joseph H. Rainey was born into slavery in 1832. He went on to become the nation's first Black congressman. He was honored last week at the U.S. Capitol. During his more than 8 years in the House, Congressman Rainey worked to pass civil rights legislation, fund public schools, and guarantee equal protection under the law. Mr. Rainey's great-granddaughter, Lorna Rainey, said in an interview that her great-aunt, Rainey's daughter, used to tell her about him since he was in very few history books. Number 3, the CDC is expected to loosen its indoor masking guidelines to states soon. The agency's update could come as early as next week. Nothing has been finalized yet, but the CDC is considering a new benchmark for whether masks are needed, basing it on the level of severe disease and hospitalizations in a given community. New York and a number of other states led by Democratic governors have dropped their mask mandate.
And 92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
All right, y'all. I hope y'all have enjoyed the show. I really enjoyed having Dr. J and Kris Gardner on the show. Again, y'all keep listening, keep paying attention. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Dr. J. As always, not this, definitely this. We'll be talking to you soon. See you tomorrow for Freestyle Friday.